Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
A first-hand look at the biggest natural disaster of the year. You'll hear what's really happening in Puerto Rico, plus the holiday blues, why we shouldn't shrug off depression this time of the year in the cities. It's the happiest season of all, but it's not. Why you should take the warning signs of holiday depression seriously. More on that in a moment. But first, a disaster like few have ever seen before. Puerto Rico still in shambles. It was in September when Hurricane Maria struck the island point blank. In the meantime, agencies like the Salvation Army have done what they could to bring relief. And joining us is Alex Velasquez, who just returned from Puerto Rico, where he was also able to reconnect with his family, and we'll talk about that. And Major Scott Shelbourne from the Salvation Army. Gentlemen, both of you, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Let me start with you, Captain. I mean, you've just gotten back. I mean, this is kind of a life-changing moment. You've been to Puerto Rico so many times, but this particular time, you reconnected with families and you saw a disaster of epic proportions.
Yeah, it was kind of rough to see. I've been going there, like you said, on and off throughout my life. I was born and raised in Chicago, but my roots are from Puerto Rico. And it's always been a paradise. It's the tropics. It was very hard to see it the way it is now. It was just devastated.
Tell me there were so many things, I'm sure. I mean, you were there for 3 weeks. Emotionally, it must have been draining for you, but is there one big takeaway that, like, the people told you to tell the people on the mainland? I mean, these are Americans that want to probably reconnect with Americans here and say, look, don't forget us.
That's a very interesting question. I got to share this, that every single area we went to serve, some mountainous, very mountainous, even the young kids, the boys and girls, it seems like one of their main goals in life is to try to serve in the U.S. military. They are so proud to be Americans. And another thing is that they're all drawing together as if they were all one family to cut branches and trees and clear roads and to clean things up, to bounce back to themselves, because they really do appreciate the efforts of the government there right now.
Well, you spent 3 weeks there and you arrived about 3 weeks after the hurricane hit. Were you stunned by the level of devastation that still was there? I mean, the water, the electricity, the lack of just the basics?
Yeah, it really did. I expected it to see a little further along, but many households didn't have water or food. Water supplies and electricity yet, and they were really struggling to try to cook and refrigerate their foods. But the houses that were destroyed, and some of them were living a lot off their land. Some had chickens they were raising for trade and to support themselves that have completely disappeared.
Because of the storm. I mean, we were talking about winds that lasted 5-6 hours. I mean, that's devastating. We're used to tornadoes in the Midwest. This would be a tornado that just doesn't go away. And Major, I mean, the Salvation Army really has had a presence in Puerto Rico and still does, even though the captain has come back.
Yeah, the Salvation Army serves in 127 countries around the world, and of course throughout the United States, which includes Puerto Rico. So it's an opportunity for people from the Midwest to go in and serve in those kind of areas to help the local Salvation Army units serve the people that go through these kind of disasters.
And the key was not to be so much administrative, it was actually to get in among the populace, in among the victims, and have one-on-one opportunities.
Yeah, the captain had a great opportunity to go and serve people directly, take water, food, the basic needs right into people's houses, sometimes way up a mountainside that they really struggled to get to. So it was a great opportunity to meet people's needs right where they were at right after the storm and make sure that they can survive.
Captain Velasquez, you were there and you didn't know about the fate of some of your family members. When we talked to you last, you were heading down there, you hadn't had communication, you were going to search them out. What were you able to find?
Yeah, I was scared to death before I left.
Sure.
And after working long days, I asked permission to go up and check on my family, and was granted. And the first place I went to is my 94-year-old stepfather, who was living in the house my mom left behind when she passed. And when we got to the front of his house and called out his name, with a scraggly voice, he said, "What?" And he couldn't believe what he heard. So when he came out to see me, he just bursted out in tears, and so did I. He was filthy, pretty dehydrated, lost several pounds, really struggling, didn't have any food in the house. So I was glad to find him, and he gave me a hug that lasted, well, a lifetime, because I'll never forget it. And I went to visit other family members, 4 households on the mainland. They all survived. 2 of them were doing pretty good, 2 households. Pretty good meaning that they were able to get by and continue the improvements. And the other 2, stepfather being one, that were really struggling with keeping food on the table and trying to get water, because it was expensive.
Yeah, well, the basics just don't exist in some cases throughout the island. Was it tough for you to leave after 3 weeks? I mean, did you feel that you had made some progress and you didn't want to leave, or was it more like there's so much more work to be done, I can't leave?
And leaving was probably one of the toughest things we had to do.
I would think.
And, you know, we have our own families here back, and we're being replaced with others that are being deployed. But the need was so grand, it was just hard to walk away from. We extended our stay a week while we were there, because we didn't want to stop. So it was tough.
Major, I mean, I would think that's important that Salvation Army is trying to underline the fact that the need hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
I mean, just because it's not in the headlines anymore. I mean, a natural disaster like what has hit Puerto Rico, and then add to it the fact that it isn't one of the 48 contiguous states, makes it easily forgotten.
Yeah, and the Salvation Army is going to be deploying people there probably for the better part of a year, if not longer. Just like we have done in other disasters, we're still sending people down to Texas and down to the Gulf Coast where the hurricanes hit down there. So the Salvation Army is there for the long term to help serve people in need and to make sure they recover from the disaster.
Do you plan to return? Do you hope to go back anytime soon?
I'm praying that I get another opportunity.
As soon as possible, I would assume?
Yes.
Let's talk about what's going on with the Salvation Army right now, of course. We're hearing the bells ringing everywhere at local businesses. How important is the bell ringing campaign, the Red Kettle campaign right now?
Yeah, it raises all over the Quad Cities. The bell ringing campaign raises about 50% of our Christmas goal, which is $825,000 this year. So it's very important.
And who are these people that are actually bell ringing? Because you have volunteers and you have some paid staff only to make sure that somebody is at the kettle. Right,
yeah. So volunteers are a great resource for us. It's a great way to give back. Families can go out and just give a couple of hours, and it makes a huge difference in people's lives. We do pay some bell ringers to be out there. Those are folks that might be in our homeless shelter downtown in Davenport, but it's people that are in between jobs, and we become a great resource for them because they work hard for us. We become a reference for them as they go out and they work with our case managers actually to help find other jobs right after they're done bell ringing.
And you also want to make sure that the kids don't go through Christmas without getting toys. You have the Angel Tree program that goes on?
Yeah, we have Angel Trees throughout the area at all the Salvation Army facilities in the Quad Cities, but also at Sears at the North Park Mall, as well as First Midwest Bank in downtown Moline. And so those are great ways for people to donate toys and help out all the families that are actually this week we're signing up for Christmas assistance.
Well, and after coming back from Puerto Rico, Captain, I mean, it must be one of those things that now you can see where some of those dollars are spent. I know that you work so closely with particularly men, but men and women in the Quad City area, but I would think this outreach is really even more valuable to you.
It really is. You know, it's a real blessing to work with an organization and that does absolutely everything they can to meet the needs of the less fortunate in all areas, and the needs of children in particular during this season. So it's a real blessing. It's extremely important. I knew what they did, but now it's multiplied by 10. I'm more proud than ever to be a Salvation Army officer today.
And we're talking also about some of the programs that do go on in the Quad City area, and you kind of think of for the homeless shelters and when the winter season is coming and it's getting colder, it is critically important that people know that there is at least some kind of a safety net for them in the Quad City area.
Right, and the Salvation Army is one of the agencies in the area that's proud to serve that need, to make sure people can get through these times, you know, from folks who donated coats, and then we work to get those to people, to even when you donate to the kettle, you're sending a kid to a summer camp next summer. So that money gets spread throughout the year to really help a lot of people.
Major Shelbourne, Captain Velasquez, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your service, and we hope to hear from you again if you do head to Puerto Rico once again.
Thanks for having us today.
Thank you for having us.
In a moment, the holidays bring back strong memories, and sometimes they may be tough to handle. We'll talk about holiday depression and why grief is not necessarily a bad thing. But first, Laura Adams joins us with great ideas of all types of events awaiting you if you want to go out and about.
This is Out and About for November 27th through December 3rd. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. Find a truly unique gift at the QCCA Expo's Christmas Arts and Crafts Fair November 27th, while Port Byron First United Methodist Church is holding a tour of homes and other Christmas traditions December 2nd. There's a holiday dog walk at Crow Creek Park in Bettendorf December 3rd, and the German American Heritage Center present the exhibit A Look in the Toy Chest, Toys Through Time. And the Quad City Botanical Center kick off their inaugural lighting of their Winter Nights, Winter Lights exhibit December 1st. Get into the holiday spirit at these town celebrations. Silvis Main Street presents Christmas in Silvis December 2nd, Christmas in LeClaire December 1st through 3rd, Christmas in the Village of East Davenport December 1st, and Bishop Hill's Yule Marknard December 2nd and 3rd. Entertainment galore with Chordbusters celebrate the holidays at Heritage Church, Christmas at Augustana Centennial Hall featuring 300 student musicians December 2nd, Quad City's Saxophone Christmas at North Park Mall December 2nd, Choral Dynamics present A Patchwork Christmas at the Orpheum Theater in Galesburg December 1st through 3rd, a Christmas Flute Festival at the Hauberg Center in Rock Island November 28th, followed by the Hogbird Mansion 50th Annual Winter in Bloom December 3rd. The Butterworth Center and Dear Wyman House present a 19th Century Christmas December 3rd, while Quad City Music Guild presents the musical Annie for one weekend only December 29th through December 3rd. Plus, Circa 21 stage is filled with Fancy Nancy's Splendiferous Christmas and Elf the Musical. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. 2017 was a year of change for the Westbrook Singers. The first family of Quad City gospel music decided it was time to retire, but their music, of course, lives on, especially their arrangements of holiday classics. Here's the Westbrook Singers with Do You Hear What I Hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb. Do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. See what I see, what I see. you see what I see? Do you hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Do you know? Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? Do you know? Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? See what I see. See what I see. People everywhere. Listen to what I say. Pray for me. Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Do you hear what I hear? The Savior is born. Do you hear it? Do you hear what I hear? Jesus Christ is born.
The Westbrook Singers with Do You Hear What I Hear? For some people, the holidays are anything but the happiest time of the year. Whether it's the loss of a loved one or the stresses of the season or just the depression of a long winter, it's a serious matter that should not be ignored, and dealing with it openly can go a long way toward making it easier for you to cope. Gilda's Club Program Director Kelly Hendershot leads grief seminars in the cities, including one called Grief and the Holidays, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It is such a powerful holiday. I mean, either you are so happy and giddy and just feeling so good, or else all of these memories or all of these pressures all come back to you.
Exactly. You know, it's so common for us to say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. You know, those words are such powerful triggers for people if they do have underlying grief that they're dealing with.
And what was interesting is one of the things that you do tell people is that grief can be good. So let's start there. I mean, don't deny you have grief. You got to find a way to manage it.
Yeah, you have to really, it's a journey that you have to push yourself through. It's really a healing process that a lot of people don't realize. In our culture, we have 3 days off for bereavement leave, and so it's kind of already set the stage for you have to get back to normal, you have to quote unquote move on. And it really just kind of sets the stage for shoving everything under the rug or compartmentalizing your grief, where it's much more healthy if you can be open, talking about the grief, honoring the memories of the loss of your loved one. It really helps the healing process if you're actively engaged in your grief.
That is true, but it's also easier said than done.
Exactly.
And let's talk about the two different types of people, the people that might be able to do that and the people who definitely won't be able to do that. How do you help somebody who you think you can help, who you think will be able to open up during the holiday season?
Well, at Gilda's Club, we do have an ongoing grief program called Grief Connections, and so a lot of people have already kind of started having the conversations about how to survive the holidays, is a term that we often use, and that's one way that we help. And just last week, we had a Grief in the Holidays presentation where close to 20 people attended. Some had never stepped foot in Gilda's Club before, but had heard about the event and just needed that conversation started to let them know that it's okay to be talking about their feelings and to know that it's okay to, you know, adapt your holiday plans and maybe even skip the holidays for a year.
Is that what a good friend does? I mean, is that, like, if I have a friend who I think is deeply depressed during the holidays, is it just coming by, saying hi, and seeing where the conversation takes you?
It probably depends on the reason for the depression a little bit. I know if it's grief related specifically, it's absolutely just, you know, being there, being supportive, inviting people out still. Don't assume that somebody's going to want to stay shut in and avoid the holidays. Some people don't. Some people want to be in crowds. And if somebody turns down your invitation, you know, saying, okay, I understand you don't want to go to the party, too many people, but let's grab coffee. You know, make another backup plan with somebody.
Keep the connection, I take it.
Absolutely. Let them know that you're there for them.
What about that other person, the person who, you know, very much internalizes, and you know what, that's their coping mechanism as well.
For those people, I'd still say that programs like Gilda's Club will help out. You know, I was a member at Gilda's Club myself back in 2008 and 2009. And I was, believe it or not, I was one of those people who internalized. I wasn't a talker, and the group really turned me around. There's something about being in a room full of people who have gone through a similar experience that really gets you to open up. The people who really internalize, I think it's because they don't think other people will really understand what they're going through.
That's what I was going to ask you, is that you internalize, or that you don't want to share, but I mean, you're not alone is what you're really trying to underline.
And more often than not, I've probably seen people internalize because they are receiving pressure from friends or family members with that kind of move on mentality.
And I gotta admit, I wonder, because I mean, as a friend, you don't want to overstep the bounds. You don't want to put pressure on somebody. So what do you say to that person who's just not sure how to approach the friend?
Continue being the friend that you've always been. It's really no different than any kind of crisis that you might have been through in a friendship. I was fortunate myself that my best friend, she didn't let me stay home. She understood if times I needed to, but she was also my escape plan. She'd get me out to outings, but she'd be the one that I'd say, hey, I really can't do this right now. She'd take care of explaining that I need to leave. And that's another thing that we talk about with grief and the holidays is having an escape plan, kind of an exit strategy. So if you feel that you need to go to all sorts of different functions this time of year, give it a try. See how you're going to feel, knowing that something at that party might trigger you. So maybe take a different car. Let the host or hostess or friend who's at the same event, family member, know that you might have to duck out unexpectedly. And sometimes it's just changing your holiday plans. You know, some people don't celebrate Thanksgiving in a traditional way anymore. Some people don't celebrate Christmas. They may go on vacation. And it's not those are the two major holidays we focus on this time of year, but to some people, Halloween's a bigger holiday for that connection between them and the person that they lost.
Right, exactly. Well, and the other thing is that a person might have suffered a loss at an earlier part of the year, but the holidays just kind of re-spark some of those memories, or the fact that you might be hosting a dinner party, or the family always comes to your house for Thanksgiving for the big meal, or Christmas for the big meal, and you get all of that added pressure, which any other year you might be able to handle better.
Absolutely. And you know, I think people are more sympathetic the first year after a loss.
Good point.
Right, because you know, it's still anticipated. This is your first holiday without so-and-so. It's going to be a little bit rough. You know, we'll kind of be patient. But 10 years later, 20 years later, there's still that empty seat. You're still walking into a room without that person. Your son or daughter is not there to open their gifts under the tree. So different people honor that different ways. Some people might still have a gift for their lost loved one under the tree. A lot of people do different acts of volunteering. You know, Salvation Army is a prime example of what families will do together.
We've talked a lot about adults, but of course children are going to be suffering depression as well because of losing someone or whatever reason. I mean, that's, wow, I mean, that is such a special situation that really has to be dealt with carefully.
Right, and I'd say for parents, grandparents, even teachers who might be watching, if there is a child that you know who does have a loss around and the holidays could be a trigger, just have open discussions with those children. Don't assume that they maybe didn't know that their parent, grandparent, whoever it was, has died. And sometimes using the real language, die, not, you know, they went to sleep, they're not coming back, you know, alluding to vacations. Sometimes those create more questions and problems for children than just saying, all right, you know, so-and-so died a couple of years ago or just last week or whenever it may have been. Holidays are coming up. We used to do this with them. What do you think we should do? Like posing it as a question, getting the kids engaged in those conversations. And
you were really pointing out that as a family, that should be a family discussion.
Yeah. Nobody should be making a single decision. Obviously, it's age limited depending on how much the child comprehends. But if the child really knows what's going on and is mature for their age, absolutely involve them in those conversations.
So let me know, what does Gilda's Club have to offer for somebody who might be in grief right now or may want to seek some help after the holidays?
Sure. Well, we do have our ongoing Grief Connections program, and that meets the first and third Tuesday, of each month from 6 until 8 p.m. at Gilda's Club. And that's a group that I facilitate, and I love facilitating that group.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many special people, and they're from all different walks of life and all different stories that they're sharing.
Yep, and the commonality is we all unfortunately had a loss due to cancer.
Kelly Hendershot, thank you so much for joining us, Program Director with Gilda's Club.
Thanks again.
It's good to hear the comments that you have, and hopefully it helps people along the way during the holidays. And WQPT is also doing its part to support the military men and women in the cities who are serving our nation. We call it Embracing the Military, and the Trees for Troops program is continuing on Arsenal Island. From now through December 8th, Army's MWR program, along with the Christmas Spirit Foundation and FedEx, are all offering free Christmas trees to all active duty military members. The trees are available at Memorial Field Pavilion until they run out. WQPT is also getting ready for planning your new year. Tickets for our biggest fundraiser, Champagne on the Rocks, are now on sale. You can join us at the Davenport Outing Club Friday, January 26th for dinner, an auction, and a chance for you to win a fine piece of jewelry. Head to our website, WQPT.org, and see some of the items that could be yours. And we certainly hope to see you at Champagne on the Rocks, January 26th at the Outing Club. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.